Okay, so in between bouts of sanding and buffing, and then sanding some more and buffing and touching up and buffing and sanding, I've been doing a lot of little odd jobs just to keep my sanity. So a couple of things I've got going on up here. Of course, I got all the paper off finally. All the cardboard that was around the bottom, that's all gone. Anyways, here's a little thing I did. As you can see, I still have to touch this up. I scratched it a couple of times because I got so many holes here, that every time I went to put the prop in, I was like, which hole am I going to go in here? So finally, I put a little red vinyl circle on there, so keep me from doing the wrong thing. So anyway, got the pistons back on the hinges. I got the wires for the signal lights loomed across for the right-hand signal. Over to this bay over here, I still have to drop everything down to the bottom, but I'm going to wait till I get all the wires to fish them down all in one go. As far as that, the signals themselves, they're set in there, and they're also, I went ahead and sealed around the signal lights themselves because the openings in this hood are pretty rustic looking. So in order to clean it up, I just used a little bit of some black silicone, a little flat colored black silicone, and just did around the perimeter of the lens. And anyways, I got that done. I got these windshield washer, I should say, nozzles in. I got the hoses routed across the bottom of the hood here with a couple of keepers, and then they come together here, and then I have to route them yet down to the bottle. The little bit of a disappointment, I had bought some new they're like little foam rings that go in here to seal up around these windshield wiper stubs, and I put them aside real nice so I wouldn't lose them, and I went to put them in and they just disintegrated. They were useless. So I ended up taping it all out, and again using the same silicone to create a water barrier there, a little sealant. Anyways, so a little disappointed to find out that my windshield guy no longer does house calls. So I'll have to get this down to him about 20 minutes away. I'll have to trailer it down there. That ought to be fun, because he couldn't recommend anybody that would be able to do it for me, that would come out, and so we'll just have to make an appointment and see how that goes. In the meantime, Don wanted to put these 392 Hemi badges on here. Normally the Hemi goes in this section between the two insets in the door, but with the 392 it was just too crowded, and they were running up onto the profile. So the newer cars have the badging on the front fender, like the Hellcats, and they all have that, the Scat Pack stuff. It's all on their front fender, so that doesn't look too bad there. That little bit of red in with the yellow is kind of nice. It brings a little breaks up the color on this car just a teeny bit with that red. That's nice. Anyways, moving to the back here, I got the Charger emblems on the sail panels, so that was those look good. I got the back glass in. That was not fun at all. Turns out this glass is contoured in this direction here, but the bed is not. I never knew that. The bed rises up about a quarter of an inch, the glass rises up about a quarter of an inch in the center here on the ends, and the bed's dead flat. So I had to, with my butyl tape to bed it, I had to build it up in the center just so it would make contact with the glass. Also, the trim, well, it's nice to have a replacement trim. They don't really make an effort to make it fit the glass shape either in this direction. It's just straight, and also down in this direction, it's straight. There's a slight curvature in this window opening here and in the glass. But this piece is pretty straight, so trying to maneuver this thing into the clips was pretty nightmarish. Also, I learned with the clips the hard way, you don't use the screws that they give you to put these clips in, because there's just not enough clearance with that big screw head for the clip to actually actuate the way it's supposed to, which is just supposed to snap in there real easy. Because the originals, there was just a tiny little T welded onto the bed all the way around, and you slip the clips on. And that little T was a very low profile piece, so the clip, the spacing on the clip was correct for what this trim would be, and you just pop it on. Anyway, so for the front, I'm going to put some pop rivets to rivet them on instead of putting the screws on. I thought it would be nice to put the screws on because I've got a little bit of rubber on the screw where it'll seal up the hole as you go ahead and screw it in. But, I could do the same thing with a little tab of silicone before I put the rivet in. And that way there's enough space between where the clip wants to expand and, so it'll work properly. This was not fun at all. I always worry about damaging something, like either the glass or, especially with the clips not working the way they were supposed to. Anyway, that's in. That's done. Anyways, I've got the rear trim molding on. The famous mustache piece here, that's like $300 because it's unobtainable. Got the Charger RT in here. This is all blacked out. Got that taken care of. Rebuilt these existing taillight housings. They weren't horrible. There was some little bit of chrome pitting on this little rim here, but what I did was, and what Don's gonna have to do in the future if it wears off, is they got these chrome markers. They work pretty good. You just got to get the chrome paint like pooled up pretty good and just run it around there, and it spiffed it up just really nice. But then I got brand new housings here. The new taillights complete are something like I don't know, they were like $1,500 or something crazy like that. This is only $600 just to replace these pods, plus these lenses are brand new. So that was kind of nice putting those in. They really look good. They're brand new. Anyway, so got the perimeter trim all in around here. As with everything, this is made out of some kind of pot metal. The stud was broken off of this one, but I still managed to work out some kind of a retainer with some panel adhesive there. On the inside here, with this mustache piece, I was wondering how I was going to seal up these bolt holes over here where these studs come through. And I just took a little of the butyl that I used to set the rear window in. It just comes on a roll, and I put that down around the hole before I tighten down the little sheet metal stamp nut that they go on with. And as usual, all of the new trim was missing most of the stamp nuts, but what are you gonna do about that? Here's that butyl bedding material. It comes in a roll like that, and you put it down and it squeezes. It's kind of like putty, but sticky, super sticky. Anyway, that's a good way to seal that up. I didn't want to put silicone in those holes just in case that piece of trim has to come off. That butyl will stay pliable throughout its lifetime. I got this piece on, which that's always a fun deal, going around these corners and getting everything laid down, getting it taped out and stuck down, but it works pretty good. Trunk needs a little bit of slamming to get shut, but it's nice and firm on that new gasket. So that's what that looks like right now. And you can see I got the gas hole perimeter in. That's all set. It doesn't vibrate. Works really good. There's the gas cap. Seals up the tank pretty good. And then this goes back on there. It's good to go. And another charger on this sail panel. But that's how it's looking. Looks a little bit better with the black interior showing through to give a little contrast to the yellow, tone the yellow down a little bit. So I was hoping to get this out of the spray booth, but I still have a few things to do. I got to do on the other side like I did on this side, which was to put the rocker guard paint on the bottom here. Yeah, you can hardly see it here. Yeah, you can see it's black down to the pinch weld all the way along here. Well, it does a couple of things. You know, when I put this rocker on, in order for it to work, I had to bevel it down a little bit. So you could see some of the, what normally would be straight across was beveled down a little bit. So by painting out from this line down, that little bevel disappears, and it's got the true aspect that you would see from standing on the ground. You would see just from here on up, and that just helps cheat that in a little bit, which is pretty nice. Like I said, you can hardly see it here. There, you can see it a little bit better. Get a little contrast with the light from the other side of the car. Anyway, I'm gonna get back here a little bit so you can see it a little bit better. Maybe on this side over here. Not so good. Anyway, let me see if I'll just drop this hood here. Alright, that's what she's looking like at this point. I got some bad news at the paint store today. They said that they have no idea now when they're going to be able to get the paint. So they said mid-November. So I'm going to have to come up with some kind of a plan to... I've only got the mirrors and also the front roll pan to paint. I've got to be able to come up with some just enough paint to do that. So at any rate, that's how she sits right now. A lot of little tedious stuff being done, but that's all part of it. It seems to go on forever, but we're getting there. Thanks for watching.